Hi, I'm Claire Fallon.
I'm Emma Gray.
And I'm Lee Blickley. We're the hosts of Here to Make Friends in Quarantine.
Our weekly look at Bachelor Nation.
In the time of coronavirus.
And this is our last episode for now. Who knows? We might be in quarantine for many more months.
Yeah.
It's not time for quarantine to be over, so who can say that it's time for Here to Make Friends in Quarantine to be over? But this current run is coming to an end, along with the run of Listen to Your Heart. So we have a lot to talk about today. Let's get started actually with the news rundown, which is not a very cheerful conversation today.
No. So over the weekend, Hannah Brown was on Instagram Live trying to do a TikTok dance to a song, and she said the N-word in the process of singing the lyrics to this song. Before we get into the whole response to it, I just want to be very clear about where we stand. If you are a person who is not Black, do not say the N-word. No. It is not okay. It is extremely offensive. There are no qualifiers. Don't say it. It doesn't matter if it's a song lyric. It doesn't matter if you have some other reason. Literally, do not say it ever, period. Mm-hmm. Of course, there was a fallout here. Claire, do you want to?
Yeah, so, she's on live at this point, so she's streaming. So she gets some comments calling her out. And so at a certain point, she addressed these in the same live stream, sort of giggling. She says, oh, I wouldn't say that. Like, I'm sorry, I guess. Maybe my brother Patrick said it. We all saw her say it, so we know that she said it. And it wasn't a very strong apology. So the backlash really continued. And apparently she ended up speaking to Rachel Lindsay, who reached out to her. And as Rachel later said, she challenged Hannah to apologize for this on camera. And instead, Hannah later posted a written apology on Instagram. And Rachel didn't think that was quite enough.
I am personally hurt and offended that I gave somebody the opportunity to do that and it wasn't done. Now, I understand that an apology was made, but when I know what could have been done, when I know what I challenged someone to do, they refused to do it, or they did not do it.
Rachel's whole thing was, this is serious. You can't just write a written apology. I need to see an in-person apology. She said, quote, "It's easy to make a statement. It's easy to hide behind words. But when you're bold enough to say the N-word on camera, on your platform, then you have to apologize in the same way you said the word."
We saw, which I am honestly very glad that it wasn't just Rachel who ended up speaking out about this, because for better or mostly for worse for her, because it's a big burden, Rachel has become the de facto person who needs to kind of stand against casual racism that occurs all the time in Bachelor Nation. And she, because most people say nothing, she has become the person who then there is pressure on her to speak out every time. And that is, in general, as white people, we should not be depending on people of color to explain when things are racist to us. That is not a fair burden to put on them. And I do just want to say that I am so grateful for Rachel Lindsay. And also, I think it's a really unfair burden to put on her. So Tyler Cameron did speak up, reposted Rachel's video, supported her. And he, said when people responded to him, he said, this is not about dragging HB, Hannah Brown. This is about using your platform for reasons like this so we can educate people who don't get it. This is bigger than HB. This is a societal problem. And I think that's really the key, and why Rachel was challenging Hannah to use her platform in video format to apologize, not just to kind of like cover her own ass. And I don't think anyone is questioning that Hannah is perhaps sorry that this happened. But if you are using that platform to do something that is casually racist and very blatantly so, you need to then use the platform to educate people about the learning process that you are then going through. And I think that's what was so disappointing.
We can pivot to Listen to Your Heart, which is a little more joyous.
Certainly a lot more joyous.
Yeah.
Like as in joyous at all.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we have a winner.
We have a winner. Spoiler alert. Chris and Bree.
What did you guys think? I feel like we've pretty much known from the beginning that Chris and Bree were going to make it all the way. So I was happy to see them win.
No surprises there. I was, again, unsurprised, but sad to see Rudy and Matt kind of implode. Although I do give both of them a lot of credit for exiting in a way that felt really mature and also very true to both of their emotions.
It's just hard for me to say, like, we can go up there and be at the same level.
Both Matt and Rudy never wanted to feel like they were faking anything and never wanted to feel like they were lying to each other. So that's just sort of how it ended up. But I was sad to miss their final performance.
I know.
Their voices are so good.
Yeah.
Cut to the final performance, and I have to say, they both went out there and gave their all, but Chris and Bree, goosebumps. Like,
Oh,
No doubt in my mind where you belong.
I even through the screen, I felt like I was at a live show.
And they
me
did
too.
make us like sort of worry that Chris and Bree were maybe like after the fantasy suite and deciding not to go together, that there was a little bit of like apprehension before the performance, but I feel like that was all fake.
Yeah, they won with these two incredible performances. Apparently they're still together, still in love. They made an album, which is now available, and we got to talk to them a little bit about, you know, their time on the show, what we didn't get to see from their relationship, and what they've been up to ever since, which was super fun. They're so delightful.
we hope you enjoy that interview, which you'll see some of right now.
Chris and Bree, we're so excited to have you here, joined today by the winning couple of The Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited.
Thank you for
so
having
much
us.
For having us. We appreciate
So
it.
we see you guys are not appearing on video together. Where are you both quarantining?
I'm quarantining in Los Angeles.
I'm in Utah with family right now.
So have you guys been apart for the whole duration of this lockdown period?
Basically, except we did have 2 weekends where I was able to go to Los Angeles and we were able to be together and kind of start to work a little bit on our album. And then when I flew back, everything got shut down within like 2 days, and then we were just kind of stuck where we were.
Oh my God. How has that been for you guys being apart through all of this as people are kind of watching this whole journey unfold?
It's definitely allowed us to grow a lot stronger. We're able to count all of the blessings. Like, it would be terrible to be stuck in quarantine and have nobody to talk to, but I have the best person to talk to, and we talk all the time. And then we're also just, healthy. So there's just really not a lot to complain about.
It is kind of a tease though to see us on TV together and we're not together. So that's been difficult for us, but we'll be together soon. And like he said, it's all, apparently everything happens for a reason. So they say, so.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into the season a little bit. How did you guys hit it off that first night? I feel like we as viewers didn't quite get to see your origin story. Just all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, of course, Chris and Bree are a couple. Everyone knows that.
Bree is a gorgeous woman. I mean, that whole first night was an absolute earthquake, and you're meeting a million different people. And then I saw Bree and I was like, all right, well, let me make an impression, and then I'll try to talk to her tomorrow because I know all the guys are going to try to hit on her. So I'm like, let all of them make their pass. I'll make my impression tomorrow. I definitely played a game trying to get to her. It worked, obviously. So
It was very smooth. That was very good. But yeah, we really did have that instant connection. But what you didn't get to see, was like, we kind of became, it was kind of the joke. Like, we became kitchen buddies where he would always find me at the food table. He'd come and sit down next to me. We would tell stupid jokes and laugh. And then, so within a short matter of time, we really did become friends first.
there was downtime. Some people are filming something, everyone else is over here. We would take those times and like make it into a mini date. It's like, well, if we're going to have this time together, let's talk about your family. Tell me about this. What happened in high school? What about this? When did you start singing? And we would just use those times to like really get to know each other a lot more. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it seemed like you guys were the most drama-free couple. It was just smooth sailing from the beginning to the end. Were there any bumps in the road for you two that we didn't really see?
Yeah, I mean, Bree, she
I'm shaking
attacked
my
me.
head
She threw a pack of M&Ms at me, and
Oh.
I thought
Okay.
it was over.
My blood sugar was low. Okay,
And I was
Here's
trying to
the
feed
thing.
her.
okay. I have celiac disease, so I can't, I have a restricted diet. So he's sitting there eating this full plate of food in front of me, and it had been after a performance, and I think I was waiting for my special meal or something, and we were all just like ravenous. And he's like, "Oh, here, I have these M&Ms. Here's your dinner." And so I threw them at him. It was the one time, I guess, that it was our first fight, but lasted 2 seconds. And so yeah, other than that though, I'd say things were pretty smooth sailing.
And then towards the end, what we saw in the finale, at least, was you guys were offered a fantasy suite and you decided not to take it. But did you ever think about maybe just spending that time together, in a non-physical way to get to know each other more? Or did you feel like at that point you had spent enough quality time together that you didn't really need it?
We really wanted that time together, and the fantasy suite was never an option in that way, but spending that quality time together was. But the fact that it was the night before the biggest performance of our lives, it's a finale, we didn't want to jeopardize that, and we needed our sleep.
And not only
Very
that,
practical.
It's a good way to think about it, though. Yeah.
I mean, we would have stayed up all night, and like why would we do that to ourselves when we have 2 songs to sing and our future is on the line in every way? That's at least my opinion, Chris. I don't know. I know we
No.
talked a little bit about that,
I'm
but
backing you up. Go ahead.
And you both seemed, coming up to that final performance in the finale episode, you both seemed a little psyched out, a little nervous. But then you completely killed it as always. And I think watching the finale, we were left kind of wondering, where did that wobble come from? Was there a reason for it? Was it just editing? Were they just trying to make us doubt that you would win? How did you guys experience that?
Go ahead, B. I see your mouth moving.
For me, again, it was just all nerves. I was terrified that I was going to mess it up, and messing it up for me meant I was messing it up for him, for us. And, being an artist, you're usually a perfectionist and you don't want to mess up. And knowing that it was the finale, that's a huge deal and something that I take very serious. And I genuinely love Chris and wanted to be the best for him. So any of those, any of that tension and nerves was all about me just wanting to be my best. And I should have, you always look back and you're like, I should cut myself slack and allow myself to be human, but always learning.
The whole thing was very tenuous. I mean, you guys know Matt and Rudy left. That was truthfully that was heartbreaking. There's a point in the show
upsetting.
where I was like, I'm not crying for anybody else who's leaving. I'll see you on the other side, blah, blah, blah. A couple of days later, Matt and Rudy leave, and I'm just shook.
Yeah.
And Bree too, and Trevor and Jamie too. So those last handful of days in Nashville, I don't know how we looked the whole time, but it was tough. It really was. We had to dig deep,
Mm-hmm. It felt like a death because we had all come together and we were going to cross the finish line together, Yeah. So for them to just leave, it just felt like something had been ripped out. And so it really was. And then to just have to snap out of that and go put your game face on when you feel like they deserve to be part of all of that, it was really, really difficult.
Obviously, we're seeing now that you two are still together. Are there any other couples in the Final Four that are still dating?
I've got to find this out because I don't know for sure. It's so funny. We're like, yeah, we talked to everyone, but I actually don't know where everyone's at right now. I know what I'm hoping for, and that's that they all do work out and they all continue to make music together. So I will push for that. I'll text them right after this. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys hoping for a reunion show or a way for you guys to all kind of connect and for us fans to see too what's been happening?
I mean, more than a reunion show, we're musicians. We want a reunion tour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want to crush it. But I mean, if we had a reunion show, it would just be amazing. We had some of, I can't judge. This is the only reality television show I've been on, but we just had some of the realest people. And so I just know that a reunion show, you would get just a little bit more into the stories and get to know your favorite characters a little bit better and see how basically how they are. So
So touring is obviously on hold, which was like the big payoff for the show is getting to tour together. So like, how are you guys dealing with that? And how do you see things progressing for your career while touring is not really an option?
well, touring's not on the table, but there was another part of that is, and so we got to make an album, and that's just been the coolest thing. I mean, when we were going to go on tour, we were going to tour these songs anyway. So it's such a blessing that we still were able to pull that off with the pandemic and everything that's crazy that's going on. And it took a while to let go of touring right now, but I mean, in the future, it's not an option. We're definitely touring. So it's just on pause.
What are your plans going forward? Is there a move in the future? What are your plans as a couple?
I was planning on being in LA soon, either going back and forth a lot or moving there, but obviously now I don't know. So we're just kind of taking it a day at a time, but the soonest we're able to be together, we are going to, and I'm going to attach myself to his arm like a sloth, and I'm not going to let go, and we're just going to keep working on music and live happily ever after. Right?
This has been a great part of our quarantine. So
Saved
thank you
us.
for the entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Have a
Well,
great
thank
day,
you.
guys.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that interview as much as we did. We love Chris and Brie, and we're rooting for them. We hope you listen to their album. And thank you, of course, for tuning in each week to Here to Make Friends in Quarantine. This is our final show. But Emma and Claire have good news because the podcast will be back for the summer.
Oh, yeah.
That's
We're so
right,
excited.
baby. Here to Make Friends original will be making its triumphant return soon.
Yes, we will still be in quarantine, but the show will just be regular podcast again. And we will be discussing The Bachelor, the most unforgettable ever highlight show, which will be airing starting in a couple weeks, which we can't wait for this new format we've never experienced before to dig into some old seasons. And, you know, Emma and I love digging into old seasons, so we expect to have a lot to say. And I'm personally thrilled to be back to podcasting about The Bachelor. Like, what a trip.
Yay! We hope you will tune in, and we love you so much, Lee. Thank you for
guys. I
taking
love you. Hearts
this
to everyone.
journey.
Yes,
You know what? I'll hop on the pod every now and then to share my favorite moments.
Yes, you will.
absolutely.
But this has been so fun. And thank you all again for watching on Instagram and Facebook. And we love you. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
Bye.